The massacre in Tucson has anti-gun activists using the tragedy as a tool to curtail your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. But some members of Congress are going the other way and want to carry a gun themselves in order to protect themselves. As it stands, congressmen are not allowed to carry a concealed weapon in the nation's capital. Our next guest has introduced a bill that would allow representatives to pack heat on the floor of Congress. Joining me now is the man who introduced this law, Texas Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert. Congressman Gohmert, it's a pleasure. Welcome to Freedom Watch.
It's always good to talk to you, Judge.
Always
good to talk to you.
Thank you. What was your opinion, Congressman Gohmert, before we get to your legislation, of the legislation offered by your Republican colleague from New York, Congressman Peter King, which would make it a crime for anyone, even those authorized to carry concealed weapons, to do so within 1,000 feet of a member of Congress? Now, how the heck could that possibly be enforced?
I don't know how it could be enforced. I know a few nights ago, everybody at Walmart and Brookshire's grocery store in Tyler, Texas, might have been up for being arrested because they had no idea I was coming in at midnight to do my shopping. There's no way to enforce that. And I like Pete King, but good grief, you know, that's ridiculous. You can't enforce something like that.
Should we?
Boy, talk about infringement of people's rights.
Right.
And
I mean,
you
should
talk
we be
about
worried?
putting a barrier between...
Should we be worried, Congressman Gohmert, that people in the Congress, and by the way, my producers have reminded me that even Barney Frank, who is not a friend of the Second Amendment, is against Congressman King's proposals for the reasons you outlined. It would be impossible for people to know where they could go and couldn't go. But back to my question, Congressman Gohmert, should we be worried that people in Congress will use this tragedy in Tucson as a means to interfere with our personal liberties, whether they are freedom of speech or the right to keep and bear arms?
Of course, people ought to be worried anytime Congress gets together and meets. You talk about a monkey farm. I mean, it is a danger because people, you're hearing them, they're all over the place talking about we need to eliminate some freedom of speech, we need to eliminate some freedom of assembly, we need to eliminate Second Amendment rights. And so, you know, I know there are people on another network that don't have the common sense that you do that are saying, oh, well, we're all about bringing guns on the floor of the House. We're not worried about the floor of the House. We can make rules to take care of that. But the District of Columbia is a federal enclave. And so as long as that is federal property, why shouldn't those who have been sent up there with 600,000 or 700,000 people supporting them be able to protect themselves? Judge, we don't need millions of dollars, and we don't need to increase the deficit either and the spending limit. And we need to go way back. I propose 05, 06, because we got beat up for spending too much money back then.
How would your legislation work? I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't even know that members of Congress could not carry guns. I mean, can't they authorize themselves to carry guns? Can't the Sergeant-at-Arms authorize them to carry guns? Can't they be deputized U.S. Marshals?
Perhaps, but that has not happened. So we're not legally allowed to bring guns into the District of Columbia because the local leaders keep trying to take away constitutional rights. But we certainly, as you pointed out, we certainly have the authority to say, of course, we can bring a weapon into the District of Columbia. It's federal property. We're not going to usurp state rights like in Texas.
Right.
But I'm also in favor, and I'm looking at adapting something that would allow some reciprocal recognition of concealed carry from other states being recognized in the District of Columbia. Sure, we can do that, but we never have.
Got it. Congressman Gohmert, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for being on the watch for our freedom. It is in danger.
You're welcome.